Brian, what when you look at the film from Saturday, what do you see with Deuce and obviously his first time out there and his first time in the road? How do you kind of evaluate it and what do you work on with this week? Not kind of knowing what he's going to happen on Saturday.
I think for Deuce, I think it was a promising first start. He did some things that you can build on. Coming in as a redshirt freshman, your first real live action. He hasn't got a ton of action up to that point. I thought he was composed. I thought he handled the offense well. I thought he got in and out of the huddle. Made a couple big-time throws, the corner out to Collins and down the sideline to Bell. Didn't make any major mistakes. There were a few plays, as you're going to have in every game, where would like to see him pull the ball on a seam or on a skinny post, maybe one high throw. But I thought overall it was a good first start for him, something to build on. Obviously, the game, the way it played out, they were holding the ball on offense, continuing their drives, and a lot of it came down to third downs. They converted on third downs, and we didn't. So they kept the ball longer and scored points, and our drive stalled out. But so you would like the game to have played out better and got him in more situations. We didn't really run many plays on offense throughout the game, but his just performance as you watch the film, was pleased with what he did. I think there's some stuff to build on for the future.
Brian, kind of a two-part question. Injuries obviously have been really bad for you guys this year. I mean, 3 different starting running backs.
Yeah.
Jeff just said Chris Bell will be out. Miller obviously had a situation. How do you, I guess, just salvage what you have or what this room would look like moving forward, and who's kind of, do you see stepping up for Chris in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's football. There's years where you're going to have a bunch of injuries, years where you're going to be lucky and not have as many, or you're going to have years where certain position groups are going to get hit. Sometimes, we've been, knock on wood, pretty good up front where we haven't had many injuries, but it's hit our skill position players this season. So every year you're going to have to adjust to those things. You want to build your roster where you have depth at all positions where you can sub those guys in. But as coaches, we have to find ways to, scheme up for the players that we have for that week. And whatever it takes to get it done. So, we're always adjusting. We're always trying to be innovative, try to do new things. But you're always going to have to see what personnel you have available that week and build the game plan around those players. So, week to week, that can mean different things. But that's our job as coaches to make sure that, with the guys we have, that we have the best game plan ready for them for the game.
Kind of the same thing, really. I guess I'm asking you to sort of expound on it. But with what you've got out there, do you feel sort of handcuffed with your options and what plays you can call?
We shouldn't feel handcuffed. I think, when you lose some important pieces, you got to be a little bit more creative sometimes. You got to lean on certain players that maybe you weren't counting on to lean on in the beginning of the year. They got to step up and make plays, but. You like to think that your standard is your standard for your players and try to get them all to come up to that level of what you expect from each position. So, I don't think we should feel handcuffed. I think we might have to be creative, but we got players that can make plays, and you got to find ways to get them the ball and let them do it.
A lot goes into this question because passing production from October to September, October, November has kind of gone down, and some of that you change the way you play. If Isaac's healthy, you're not going to maybe throw for as many yards. But what's been your assessment in the last month of the passing game? What do you like? What's frustrated you about it? And just on where it is.
Yeah, I think just in general passing game wise, we've. We had some success with some more ball control, shorter passes, get some run after the catch early on in the year. And, we've continued some of that trend where we're going a little bit more to the quick game and getting it out quick and a little more ball control type of plays. So I think as we look back and look at it, I think being able to stretch the field is important. We need to be able to take some more shots. Both calling the shots and the quarterbacks being more aggressive to take those shots. to get the ball down the field. But you know, as you look at, obviously this past week we had 100 yards passing. That's going to bring the number way down. But I think just being a little bit more aggressive in the pass game as we look forward to make sure we're taking those chances and those shots down the field to get some more big plays. We've really been, just in general this past month, pretty low on the explosive play meter, whether it's run game or pass game. And we just got to find a way to generate more big plays.
If you do get Miller back, and Jeff said he's not sure, and you know we could see multiple guys this week. How do you do that? How do you manage? And you did it in college where you played a little bit. How do you manage a couple of guys when you're putting it out there? And how did you kind of do it the other day? You know, with Brady.
Yeah, we've had a lot of experience. You know, playing multiple quarterbacks. I think in general you would like to always be where you have your guy and he's the guy, and we're going with one quarterback the whole time. But we've done it in the past quite a bit. I think you talk back to when Jeff played for Howard Schnellenberger. Coach Schnellenberger always put the backup quarterback in the second quarter to give him experience, to try to work for the future as well as the current time. You know, when I was here as a freshman, I got in the second quarter all but one game my freshman season, and Stephon LaFour's, you know, he had the highest quarterback rating in the country. He was playing some really good football. So there's definitely some precedent set to where we've played multiple guys at Purdue. We had multiple times where we played two quarterbacks, one the first quarter, one the second quarter, and we chose at halftime who was going to play the rest of the game. So there's definitely different ways to do it. I think these guys have been getting a lot of reps all year. You know, now obviously the other guys got some experience. I think going into last game, we wanted to give you know, Deuce and Brady. I always rep three quarterbacks within our reps of ones and twos. So they've been getting equal reps. They've been competing for that backup spot pretty much every single day. I grade every single rep they take in practice that's competitive, every single rep in scrimmage. We try to put that grade together and see where they're at. And they're very close. But we thought Deuce gave us a little bit better chance. But you're never 100% sure until they play in games. You know, we don't tackle quarterbacks in practice. So some guys are gamers, some guys are better in practice. So a lot of times, you know, you don't get preseason games in college football either. So it's good to get them out there and see the game experience. So our thought was to give Deuce the first two series. We're going to give Brady a series and see kind of how that went and to decide on how we're going to play it out after that. And we thought Deuce had a really good first drive. They both went 3 and out in the next two series, so we kind of rolled with Deuce. And at the end of the game, it got away, so we put Brady back in, give him some reps for the future. But, you know, same way, you know, you prepare both of them. There'll be certain plays. They all can run the full offense. There might be certain plays, especially if, you know, depending on how full go Miller will be. If he's 100%, is he 90%? Can he fully run? Is he, you know, what exactly is he? There might be certain plays that are better suited for the other guys to get in there. But, you know, as I told even Brady, when you're doing that 2 quarterback deal, sometimes it is an advantage to see what's going on from the sideline. You know, I stressed to him, hey, watch the first 2 drives, and you'll get to see what the defense is doing before you go out there. You get to feel the flow of the game a little bit. So sometimes it's an advantage. And I've even talked to quarterbacks when we've taken them out for a series and put them back in, just that series off to see what was going on from the sideline can be helpful. So there's ways to manage it and make it work, and we try our best to do that.
How has developing that position changed over the years? And anymore, if you have to go to backup, he's somebody else's portal target. I mean, it's a hard kind of balance to get. I know you've got to coach up whoever you have, but how is particularly that position and just trying to maintain depth?
You know, I think it's been all positions with the way that college football is now in the portal. You know, you're always trying to make the strongest roster you can at the beginning of the season. So, number one, we're reaching into the portal to get guys, and A lot of times it's veteran guys that have played, and number two, there's guys on your roster that are going to get in the portal and leave that you've been developing, that all of a sudden that development goes to another program. And that's at every single position. I mean, last year at this time we were, Tyler was the starter undisputed, but I said I repped three guys. Bailey and Clarkson were the ones getting the rest of the reps of the first group. So it does change, and both those guys left through transfer portal. So it does make it a little bit more challenging, but we got to always adjust to the times, and we try to give these guys as many reps in practice as we can get, grill them in the film room, and develop them every single day. I always go back to the Aiden O'Connell story at Purdue, developing him, and he came in as a ninth-string walk-on, so he wasn't getting those reps either for quite a while. So that there's really no excuses. Those quarterbacks were in there, we're grinding, we're working every single day, and we should be developing on a path to be getting better every single day. And he's kind of my story of a guy that he wasn't getting hardly any reps for 2 years, and just got better and better and better all the time.
Brian, obviously you've had some success as a player against Kentucky. You guys were able to win the game last year. With just all the different things that have been going on this year with the injuries, losing 3 games straight, how can maybe a rivalry game just infuse some more juice or energy into the team to end the season on a high note?
Yeah, I think a rivalry game, we should always have an extra boost of energy. This game is very important for our program, for their program, for the fans, for the state of Kentucky. We know how big it is. We've played in it, coached in it. It's a huge deal. So to get these guys fired up and ready to play in that game, we should be able to do that. I hope at least offensively we're a little bit angry, a little bit mad about how last week went, a little bit mad about how we kind of been playing lately, and take out some of that frustration on Saturday, and hope we're able to show everybody what we're capable of, what we can do. I think there's a lot to play for in this game, and we'll look forward to getting back in front of the home fans and trying to bring a victory in the Governor's Cup.
Brian, let's talk about them defensively for a minute, what you see with Kentucky, and then how much can it help? I know playmakers injured, it hurts, but the line, knock on wood, has been healthy, and they're getting better, it seems. How much can that help?
That definitely help. I think as you look at Kentucky, they're a good, well-coached defense. They're always well-coached. They do a great job of making you earn it. Last week they gave up some big plays to Vandy, but typically they're not giving up big plays. They're making you drive the football down the field, and that's kind of what we need to get better at, is sustaining the drives and not getting stalled out. So there'll be a kind of a challenge right there of making sure we can sustain drives and finish those 8-10 play drives with touchdowns. But they're a good defense. Now they have some injuries as well, so I think both sides, you got some backups that are going to be in there playing, but we'll be testing the depth of our offense. They'll be testing some of the depth of their defense. But I think when you look on film, they play hard. They're playing hard, and they're doing a pretty good job. Last week they also gave a lot of points, and I'm sure they're going to be a little bit mad, a little bit angry, and want to show everybody what they can do. So it should be a good challenge.